I'm Shannon.
And I'm Rob. Welcome to The Build Up, the show about shows between the shows.
Check out this amazing weather, Rob.
Wow.
Aren't you
pouring
happy
rain.
that we moved from LA to come here to do this show?
How lucky are we? It is
right?
just picture perfect. And thankfully, a lot of people still came out because we have Bobcat Goldthwait here talking about his latest project. Bobcat Goldthwait's Misfits and Monsters. It's a TruTV scripted anthology series that mashes up wildly different genres to tell suspenseful stories with some mysterious twists. Ooh.
Yeah. Now, Bobcat is well known for many things, including saying some pretty wild things.
Yes.
So we wanted to do a little game with our audience and see if they could tell the difference. Like, are these phrases we're giving you Bobcat quotes, or are they wild things that we heard on the street from wild random people?
Actual wild things. Who wants to play today? Anybody want to play?
Ooh, I
you,
like this
sir.
section on the
Yeah,
couch.
this is a fun little area. Oh, okay.
Hey.
I guess we could sit
Get
down here.
comfy, yeah.
Hi, sir. Hi.
Hi, what's your name?
Bella.
Bella. Oh, I love that name. And what's your name over there?
Tyler.
Hi, Tyler.
Are you guys big Bobcat fans?
Definitely.
I know, right? He's so great. So I'm wondering if you're going to be good at this game. Let's give our first phrase. Number 1, smoke her out, make her smile. What do you think?
Bobcat or wild person on the street?
Wild person on the
Yeah,
street.
well, person on the street too.
You're right.
You're correct. That was aces. Are these too easy already?
Already too
All
easy.
right, I'll give you this next one. Ready?
Wait, do you want to tell, like, that was a real story.
Oh, it was a
Someone
real
said that to the street when I was walking by. They told Rob, we were walking together near the beach, and this guy was like, hey, man, get that girl high. He was just telling Rob to smoke me out and make me smile, and I was like, hey, I'm high on life.
Yeah.
I'm at the beach.
Also, if she wanted to, she could do it herself, okay?
Yeah,
You don't
I'm an
need my
independent
help.
woman. I don't need a man to smoke me out. I can
Exactly.
smoke myself out.
Exactly. Not that you do all the time.
Yeah,
Ready?
no.
I've got another fun quote.
Okay.
My mama had a baby and its head popped off.
Ooh, what do you think?
Anyone?
Is that the beach too? Is that?
No,
I'm gonna go on the street. I'm going on the street.
no, I'm going the other one, the Bobcat.
Oh,
yeah.
she said Bobcat.
Bobcat is
That's
right.
correct.
Bella's winning.
One win, one no. Oh,
That's a real
okay.
quote.
She's
Yeah.
She's up one.
Number 3. I know. Are you sad,
I do
Tyler?
have a tidbit about that. I believe that's from his first television appearance on David Letterman.
Oh, good history buff moment for Robbie. All right, number 3. I'm home. I got fired and I got bugs in my eyes. What do you think?
Bobcat. I'm going Bobcat.
Yeah, Bobcat too.
Wow.
You're right.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right.
Fun fact, though, I just want everyone to know we all have bugs in our eyes, okay? We're covered in little bacteria crawling all over us. So when you fall in love and you're looking someone in the eyes and you're like, I want to kiss you so bad, you're really just kissing a bunch of bugs.
Yum, 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 yum.
Yum. Are you loving being covered in bugs right now, Bella?
No.
I can see them. They're crawling everywhere.
Street.
It's hard to unsee once you see it, am I right?
Yeah, I don't want to see it.
You know. Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty scary. I'm sorry.
Oh boy. Here's another quote. Ready? It's wild. That's not a woman, that's a beast.
Stranger on the street or Bobcat?
Street.
Bobcat would never say that. Stranger.
Wow.
You guys are both right.
Both correct.
Yeah.
You're killing it. You're really good at
That happened
this.
to me. That's a real story. I was leaving the subway and a woman yelled, "That's not a woman, that's a beast!" And I was like, honestly, compliment of the day, you know?
It's really
I
not
love
a bad
being
thing
a
to
beast.
say about
yeah.
someone.
I'm a powerful, hairy woman. I'm a beast. Do you think I look like a beast?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Bella. Bella and the Beast. We're like Beauty and the Beast.
Look at that.
Kinda, you know? If you want to read some books later. I don't know. Tyler's like, I don't know. He's like, girl, leave her alone. All right, next up, number 5. My mom died. Want to get high?
Why would they say that on the street? Bobcat.
Street.
It's the
This is perfect.
street.
It's the street.
Yeah.
It was a twist.
Yeah. That was
Why
another
would they
real
say that on the
story.
street? Why would they say that on the
Yeah.
street? It's a great question. We don't have the answer to
Well,
that.
that story, well, no, there was two guys I was watching. They were across the street from each other, and they were yelling. And this one guy was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And this other guy was like, "My mom died. Do you want to get high?" And the other guy was like, "Actually, yeah." And then he crossed the street, and they walked away to get high. Isn't that cool?
Wow.
Cool, right? All right, let's
Pretty
talk
beautiful.
to some other people.
It's a beautiful story. Where you want to go here?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I like the green couch.
The green couch.
Ooh,
a
let
little
us
bit of
in
space.
there. Oh, you're good.
Ooh.
Oh,
you saved
squeeze
seats
in.
for us. That's so nice.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
nice.
so sweet. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm so good. What's your name?
Maya.
Hi, Maya. I'm Rob.
Hey,
being
what's
here.
your name?
Hi, I'm Emma.
Emma. So are you happy you missed the rain?
Yeah, very.
I know, right? Hashtag bless. Are you excited to see Bobcat?
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Have you ever seen him before?
No.
This is gonna be my first time too. I might scream right in his face.
Oh, I don't know if you'd like that.
He might not, but you know what? I can't make any promises.
Yeah, I guess you were influenced by his wildness.
Yeah.
Are you excited to see Bobcat?
Yes.
Totally. Awesome. Awesome. Do you think you're going to do well on this little game here?
Probably not. I'm not very good at games, but I'm gonna give it my best.
Good.
I believe
Maybe,
in you.
know, sometimes coming into it cold is the best way to win.
Yeah. Are you good at games?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Wow.
You just got
Okay.
competitive.
I felt that
Watch
energy.
out.
It was like
Yeah.
lightning bolts.
She's like, I'm gonna fuck you up, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm so ready.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, here's another quote. Ready? Hey, when are we getting the band back together?
Bobcat or stranger?
Stranger.
Did you cheat?
I would say, yeah.
Are the answers on there?
No.
No. No, they were correct. It was a stranger. It was a stranger
Yeah.
quote. Sorry, we were saying no, the answers aren't on here, but they are on here.
Yeah.
We were lying also.
You
badly.
guys were correct. That was a person on the street.
This guy lived on my block, and he sat on the corner every day, and I would pass him, and he'd go, hey, man, when do we get the band back together? And I'd be like, sometime. I thought I was pretty special. One time I was at a party, and I met someone who lived on my same street. And I was like, oh, you know that guy who sits on the corner? He's so funny. She's like, yeah, he always asks me when we're getting the band back together. And I was like,
Aw.
wait, you too?
Oh, man.
Man,
Well, thank you so much.
thanks
You
so
guys
much
were
for playing.
great.
You actually did
Yeah.
really well. Everyone's
I
killing
thought
it
everybody
this
was a
game.
winner.
It turns out it's not that easy to decide between crazy
No.
people and just talented comedians.
You know, it's pretty hard when you hear something you don't know who's saying it. But
Yeah.
you know what's really exciting is Bobcat's taking some pics right now backstage.
We see it.
Ooh, let's check it out.
See it.
Oh, let's see.
Is it?
I wonder what faces he's making.
Misfit
Oh,
or
man, looking
monster
great.
in the flesh.
Do you have any any poses you want to show us?
Yeah, this is like if you get me on Instagram, I go like this.
Oh, I like that.
That smile in front of my daughter, she's like, that's BS. That's your fake
That's your
Instagram
fake life.
smile. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. I love that you gave us your fake smile. My fake smile is too big. It's like kind of try hard.
Yeah, I
Let me
like
see
this.
it. Sorry.
It's like I always end up
All
looking.
chin.
Yeah, it's really bad. I know I'm being a fake ass bitch when I make that smile.
It's flattering.
Oh, thank you. I always
Let's
feel
see
like I
yours.
look like a Cabbage Patch
This
Kid.
is mine.
You're
just
like in a
sprinkled
lot
my
of
whole
pain.
No, but do what you when you're trying to look good. No, he's just
Have
being
you-
a lunatic.
No, it's-
You don't know Rob. He's never
That's
looked
him?
good.
Oh.
You're accusing me of being a lunatic? Wow.
yeah.
That's just-
Well, thank you.
Wow.
Yes,
Kind of
there,
a
see?
highlight.
There you go.
And that's it.
Beautiful.
Let's
And
see
the
you
curtsy.
trying to look.
And the curtsy.
All right. Well, now that we all know our fake smiles, we
All
can
right.
keep it real next time.
Yeah,
Thank
well-
you so much.
Sure,
Yeah,
of course.
thank you.
Bye bye.
And you guys stick around because Bobcat's coming up right now on the build.
Wow, thanks so much, everybody. Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Ricky Camilleri. Our next guest has directed movies like Man of the Year, God Bless America, the great documentary Call Me Lucky, and now he's got a brand new TV show on TruTV. It's called Bobcat Goldthwait's Misfits and Monsters. Let's take a look.
I need full disclosure. I need to know if there's anything in your past that can bite us in the ass on the campaign.
Oh, yeah, I'm a werewolf.
A what, Del?
It's an anthology series. Each week, the episodes are completely different stories.
I thought it'd be fun if the boys slept in the backyard in a tent.
There's a lot of fantasy in it.
Did she say yes when you asked her out?
Are you listening to me? She is half human, half fish. I'm not going out with a mermaid.
Oh, is that because you're a racist?
There's also some underlying satire.
I want a president that's a werewolf so that other countries won't push us around.
And I like to mash up genres that don't normally go together.
Bubba the Bear is real.
Like, what if Cape Fear and Roger Rabbit had a baby?
Ray, get inside, Ray!
It's a little dark, and because it's very dark in here.
You really believe you're the devil?
Ah, you still don't believe me, huh? I'm sorry, I get into one of my moods and then I'm sorry. You want some water?
The thing I'm most excited about is to each week challenge the audience. You're not tuning in and seeing the same faces.
Satan let me down?
Oh, I let you down?
It's important to be liked.
I'm not in it. I don't do a cameo. I don't do any voice work.
Pull over.
They're just the stories that come out of my head.
Anything else?
I ate a toddler once.
Ah, jeez.
When I was a werewolf.
Ah.
Bobcat Goldthwait's Misfits and Monsters.
The great Bobcat Goldthwait.
Hello. Thanks. I'm so relieved that I wasn't wearing the same clothes from that interview that we just played, because the likelihood of that is pretty good.
That would have been pretty good. I would have liked that, actually.
I'm a little OCD when it comes to my apparel, so yes.
Generally have the same clothes, like the numerous versions of the same outfit?
Yeah, I'm like a priest. No, I just don't have a lot of yeah, I do have a lot of the same clothes.
You too.
Multiples of, yeah. But I'm sure that's why you have me here, to talk about my apparel.
Oh, that's all that I'm talking about today.
Okay,
just your
good,
apparel, Bob.
good.
Whatever this is. No, I love the show. Congratulations! I've watched three of the episodes.
Thanks.
The one there's one airing tonight, right?
Tomorrow night, Wednesday.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So it airs on Wednesday nights on TruTV. So tell me, where did this come from? Your movies aren't really monster movies in any way. I mean, in some ways they are. America, a lot of the time, is the monster in your movie. But this, you're actually dealing with Satan, you're dealing with animated monsters. What made you want to go towards that?
It's actually the stories came first, but I always want to see if I can do different genres. So that was the reason I wanted to do this show. And I went out with this show about 7 years ago, and I pitched it, and no one wanted to make it. And then
I imagine then you pitched it as a kind of Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I would say
the only anthology.
Right, that was the only thing. So then, the next thing they would say would be like, "Oh, well, what else would you like to do?" And I'd be like, "No, that's it." Because I guess usually when you're bombing in a TV pitch and they don't want to do your show, you go, "What's big this year?" So it's going to be a reality show with comedians in a cage, and
get stuck doing that for 7 years.
Yeah, and you want to shoot yourself in the face. How did I get on a show where it's a dating competition show with comedians?
In caves.
In caves, yeah.
Getting coffee.
Getting coffee. Comedians in caves getting coffee and being rescued.
So you go into pitch this, and you have the Twilight Zone as your main.
Does anyone know how they got in the cave? Those kids.
You want to actually talk about the kids?
No, I didn't.
I don't know. You're right.
I only just caught up now. I mean, this is the worst Cub Scout leader ever. Keep going, kids. No, I don't know how it happened. Sorry.
Do you think the kids got caught in the cave, and the leader was like, "Well, if I don't get in that cave with them, this is gonna look pretty bad."
Oh yeah,
like
I
can't get everybody here and go, look, all my kids are in the cave.
I know if I was in that cave and I was their age, I'd be terrified, because I would have been the fat kid. I would have been the most delicious kid. They would be going, well, if no one comes and gets us, we're gonna eat Bobcat.
Or the one that they're all going, well, you're not gonna get out.
Yeah, you're not getting.
You're not gonna be able to squeeze out of here.
You're gonna be like in Willy Wonka. You're gonna be the fat kid stuck in the tube. All right, so that's what I'm here to talk about: Willy Wonka and eating children. Although that does come up in our show. David Koechner's character. Is a used car salesman that they run for office who, besides being a werewolf, ate a toddler.
Now, I watched some of the behind the scenes after the episode, and it seemed like you were saying that episode was the one that you were most nervous about because the satire of it is so direct.
Yeah, but now I realize, I didn't want the episodes to go, oh, this was, this period of time specifically. But I mean, by the nature of our president, every hour there's a new crazier story. So him being a werewolf is just like, meh, well, yeah, seems about right.
But a used car salesman as well that goads his audience into supporting him, and no matter how bad his actions are, people still find an excuse to support him.
Yeah. So it originally was a story about a teenage werewolf in the 50s who starts shooting heroin, and when he shoots heroin, he doesn't turn into a werewolf. So the high road for him is to stay strung out all the time, and everybody's trying to clean him up. It's like, Dad, no, you don't get it. I'm a monster when I don't have heroin. And he's like, well, when I don't have my martinis, I can get crabby. So, but I really
still have that script somewhere. That's really funny.
That script exists, and then they sober him up and he kills his family. But when I think I wrote the whole script, so he's the dad is being attacked by him, and he says, "You're tearing me apart." So that's not a really good reason to go for a joke that not many people would get.
When you were pitching this, you said 7-8 years ago. Did you have a number of the scripts already written, or did you just have like sort of the idea for an anthology show?
No, I had like a lot of different ideas. I don't know if they became the ones we used, because I write a lot of stories all the time. After I did a movie called World's Greatest Dad, I wrote 11 screenplays after that. So I write all the time, How
long does it usually take you to bang out a screenplay?
It's usually about a week, They're not.
Really?
Yeah, they're not good.
Oh, okay.
No, I said that to my daughter once. I go, if anything ever happened to me, all these scripts are yours. And she goes, Dad, you can't get these movies made. What would I do with them?
Are they the kind of thing where you sort of get a rough draft done, and then that's essentially your pitch in a lot of ways? And if anybody did give you the money to go make that, you would end up rewriting it and reworking it?
Yeah, I write the whole script out. I think it's easier for me to write a whole script, and then you can see what it is versus me going into a pitch. Because if I was sitting across from me and I came in and I said, it's a rom-com with a tiny bit of bestiality, I wouldn't give me money to make that movie. So I write the whole script.
But in a week, and then that's your finished script?
Yeah, and then we usually rewrite it and stuff, but that's usually the one. But yeah, and so this show is the same way. We made a lot of the episodes, and then I wrote outlines for, a whole bunch more, and wrote some of the scripts. And if there's a season 2, maybe I'll get around to them, but I probably have other ideas by then.
So did you write and direct every episode?
Yeah, and then I had a couple friends, my friend Caitlin Gill and Tony V, they were on board, and they would be on the set, and they would be like an extra set of eyes. Like they would throw out a joke, or they would say, they just pitch ideas and stuff. So, but I would write all the scripts, yeah.
That's an incredible amount of work. You said it's 8 episodes?
Yeah, it's 8 episodes. Naively, I went ahead and said, okay, we're going to do 8 episodes, and it'll be different.
I can do that.
It'll be different time periods and different genres and a different cast each week. Yeah, I ate my feelings a lot through the production. I put it on about 30 pounds.
Did you really?
Yeah, I definitely did.
So it was a really stressful production?
No, it's more like I try to take the hits, and I let myself be I'd rather I was stressed out than have a stressful set.
Right, so something goes wrong, and you kind of just go, okay,
yeah,
and then you walk over to Crafty and eat a bagel.
I lift up the table. So
everything's okay.
Everything's okay. But because by the nature of the way I like to work too, the actors and even my cinematographer, everybody's collaborating and pitching ideas all the time. So I like to make an environment where people feel they can pitch an idea. So it has to be. I mean, I know other directors are successful by having be exactly what they wrote, but myself, I like to hire people I trust and get the best out of them, hopefully.
Now there is a fair amount of satire in it. In the episode with Michael Ian, can we talk about what's in?
Sure.
I mean, I don't think I'll spoil anything, but in the episode where Michael Ian Back plays Satan, who gave a deal to a kind of Bieber-esque musician.
Yeah. Satan shows up backstage at a pop star's concert. It's kind of like a Bieber-esque person, and Satan's like, "No hard feelings. I can't take the singing and dancing anymore. The deal's off. And he's like, Satan, you want my soul? He's like, I don't know if you have a soul. So it's a Faustian tale, but Satan reneges on the deal.
What I loved about that episode was the actor, excuse me for not remembering his name, the actor that you got to play the Bieber-esque pop star.
Ross Bryant. Yeah.
Ross Bryant does the exact thing that he acts the exact way that all those pop stars do during interviews, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, he's really good.
I don't know when that started or how it happened, but if you go back to like Corey Haim or Donnie Wahlberg or Mark, they all have been doing that since the 80s.
It's this thing like, it's as if like they're like,
kind of cute and humble,
but they're also bobbing and weaving like they might get punched. I think it's like a boxing move, you know, like not the face.
We just started recording songs and they came out good. I don't know, that kind of thing. It's so weird.
Yeah, but Ross was really and Ross plays that role so well. You start thinking that he is a big douchebag, but in real life,
he was Machine Gun Kelly at first.
Oh,
because he looks like him.
Well,
with the tattoos.
That's what. Yeah, that's we mentioned that when we were doing it. Actually, yeah. So, I actually didn't like it's. You know, taking down Bieber is pretty low-hanging fruit. So I think it's
he does it himself quite often.
Yeah. It's so the idea is that it's just a pop star, basically.
What do you have a favorite of the 8? It must be hard to say, but one that just ended up at the end of the day. You're like, oh, okay. This came out a different way than I thought.
I really don't, but they're all different. So there's one like I did like a Stand By Me. And like an emblem kind of show with a bunch of little kids who one might be homicidal.
An Amblin show?
It's like a Spielberg film.
Yeah, like a Stranger Things or like...
Yeah, and I was talking to my friend and I said, I'm a little weird because it was actually James Gunn. It would be name dropping, but I go, I don't know. Is this going to be too much like Stranger Things? He goes, I don't remember any time in Stranger Things where a kid beat an old man to death with a baseball bat. I go, yeah. He goes, I think it'll be fine.
It would be a better show for it if it had.
On a very special.
I actually do feel that
11
way.
goes
I would love
nuts.
that show. Yeah, exactly. I would say about 10, 12 years ago, you made what is probably your most satirical movie, directly satirical movie, a kind of Natural Born Killers.
Right.
About two people going pretty hog wild across the country.
Right.
Killing spree. And you were lampooning a lot of or taking shots at like American Idol a little bit in it and reality television programming of all different kinds. Was it about 10 years ago that was?
Yeah, I'm not
10,
sure.
12?
Yeah, probably like maybe 8. But yeah, so it's called God Bless America.
Yeah.
I like to say it's a very violent film about kindness. But, you know, Joel Murray's character in that, he basically asks, where are we going as people, where, the truth doesn't mean anything anymore and an outrageous comment has more weight, and it was a little bit kind of ahead of the curve. I mean, that's not why I made it. I was just in a crabby mood.
Well, that's kind of my question. What is it like, having made that 10, 12 years ago to be living in the age that we're living in now, starting in 2014, 2015.
Right.
And it's not just the president, him and his behavior, but there is a lot surrounding that makes that possible. And I think all of those are things that are...
And even just not even his politics, just that we've become a very nasty culture.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when we were making it, people were worried about if we were going to have copycat. And I said, no, things are going to get much worse. And I was right, So it was weird making a violent movie that's satirical. I don't know how far we can go in your interview, but
as far as you want. It's okay.
Well, there was a minister in North Carolina that was kind of blamed the movie for violent behavior in people, and said that the movie should have been banned. And I said, if we could prevent violent behavior from people by banning works of fiction that are violent, I'm all for that. But we better start with the Bible. Yeah, he didn't answer me.
My question isn't about the violence. I don't think anything should be banned necessarily. That's not anything. But that is violent or satirically violent. I think it's more of a question of the lasting impact of satirical comedy in our culture is and continues to be. It's something that as someone who loves satire, I've started to question recently.
Well, you get a little nervous because there's a time traveling episode where this guy, it's like a Jerry Lewis movie, but sets place in Dealey Plaza. So it's like, I guess the Nutty Assassin would be the best way to describe it. So, but he gets to watch film clips from the Nazi-occupied version of America. So, because Truman was assassinated, and now they're going to send this guy back to take out Lee Harvey. But so he's watching the alternative version, but video clips. And so there's Full House, Haus, with like a Full House with an all Nazi cast. And then there's a show with the I can't say what it is because they're being very litigious right now. But it's there's the Strudel monster. And there's a little boy. It's like, can you count to 10, John? Zig Heil, Strudel Monster, Zig Heil. And they sing A is for Adolf. So
that's not that far off from what some people kind of want in this country. I saw a tweet recently from a girl, like a gun nut, like 19-year-old girl who was like at Disneyland and said something like, where are our princesses who support gun rights and are anti-abortion? It's like, what fucking Disney movie is that going to be where like the princess is running around with an AR-15 and shooting up abortion clinics? That's not a Disney movie.
Yeah. Was she like mad that she didn't have?
She was mad that didn't exist.
That she didn't have it. Well, maybe season 2. Yeah. Maybe I'll have her dreams come true. But when you film stuff that's that far-fetched, you worry like out of context, someone could grab this as a meme and all of a sudden I'm supporting the Proud Boys or something like that.
It's this feeling that it's like, oh, if we make fun of people for how mean and how dumb they are, even when they are public figures and deserve it, do they just get meaner and dumber and not learn their lesson? If we're going off of like 12 years ago versus now.
I don't know. I mean, it's, I made a decision in my career at one point because I used to be really big on bashing celebrities, and I kind of backed off, not because I felt bad for the repercussions, but I just know that when people use my name as a punchline, it doesn't feel so awesome, So I kind of started trying not to be such a hypocrite.
Was there a period of time in your career where people used your name as a punchline?
Today? No, I mean, no.
You're very well known as like a...
I am, but I'm not, like I was ego surfing and I was just
Googling yourself?
Yeah, ego surfing, and I'm looking at myself, and I was on Kimmel, and people were like going, and I read the comments like an idiot. It's like, I thought he was dead, and it hurts a little that your crowd just laughed at that. But
well, it's not them that it's being said about.
Yeah, but but if I'm always been on my own path. When I started doing stand-up, I was kind of doing my own thing. When I got, and there was people asking me not to do what I was doing. And then when I started being a storyteller, I just kind of went far outside the system and make really small movies. And I'm fortunate now that I actually have a TV show. That's pretty crazy. But because my movies make hundreds of dollars, actual hundreds. So that's the thing that's kind of missing from our culture now is people don't make fun of themselves anymore. We're losing shame and self-ridicule.
Or it's like they do. I mean, it's already wrapped up in what they're putting out about themselves,
right.
But no one is actually latched because there is no shame. None of it lands, but it's all so shameful.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how to describe it.
I plugged this on Instagram and I felt dirty. Yeah. But I was like, come see me talk about myself. It'll be awesome. I'm not dead. It's Bob Scratch Goldfarb.
This past year you directed a wonderful stand-up special, Patton Oswalt's Annihilation,
Right.
and a lot of it was about the tragedy that he had suffered a few years ago when his wife passed away and taking care of his daughter. It was one of those really great stand-up specials, and I think we see a few more of them now, which are really blending the line between being just a straight-up comedy special and a very much sort of an emotional outpouring and storytelling.
Yeah, and I'm all for that. I mean, there's a million outlets and ways you can watch people who are just going to be delivering jokes, but I felt Patton was just. It was the elephant in the room. His wife Michelle had passed away, and he addressed it, and he actually eventually there is laughs and there's tears, and I directed it, and it was my concern was not to make it too flashy. Like a lot of people in the audience were crying, and I actually had cameras on them, and I didn't put that in because it felt really manipulative, like it would have been like a daytime show. But I lost a good friend of mine passed away, and so I feel like Pat and I had this connection. It's certainly not the same thing as losing your spouse, but I had one of my best friends die. So there was a sensitivity to it. I mean, the worst thing that would have been for that special would have been live from Chicago, and an Incubus or whatever. But but so instead, it's he walks on stage. It's only 2 shots, and he's on stage. And then when he discloses about his wife's passing, it's just one single shot. That's a really low speed, slow push. Because I just wanted to be respectful of what he was saying.
Had you seen the performance a number of times before getting cameras in there? And how do you plan for something like that?
He had been doing this material, but that special was the first time he actually had done it in that order. Like right up until that first show, he really didn't have that whole set structured. So that was the first time, and I shouldn't tell this story, but we walk off stage, or he walks off stage, and I hugged him, and he was crying, and I started crying, and I go, "Thanks for the Emmy," but just people. I just sucked all the air out of the room. Don't worry, I'm not nominated for an Emmy, but
It's also just 2 men who are crying and are trying to figure out a way to stop crying for a second.
Yeah, I mean that's
like that,
but that's where my humor, people, and like in that clip, it says that it's dark. I don't feel my humor's dark. I just gravitate to that kind of stories, and that's how I deal with how crazy everything is.
When you're directing a special like that, is directing that essentially like sort of calling camera cuts from like a control room? Or
you're doing that, but also it's a lot of things. Here's the thing, I've done specials where I'm in front of the camera. And I feel like my job when I'm directing a stand-up comedian is trying to make sure that he or she is as comfortable as they possibly can be, and they don't have to worry about it, and that it looks the way they would like it to look. So
you've directed a number of stand-up specials. But
I've done a lot.
Yeah, you've done a lot of them. This isn't like your first,
but yeah, I've done a lot, and fortunately, they're all usually. Well, I shouldn't say usually. Fortunately, they are all folks that I respect. So it's a good deal.
Do you, when you were doing something like Patton's and you know what the subject matter is going to be, do you change the way you're going into it, or do you try to keep it the same way that you would do any special?
No, like for his, like I had to be aware of the fact that the material was really sensitive, and I didn't want it to be splashy. I wanted it to be very. I wanted you to feel like. I didn't want you to be aware of the cameras. But then I did Mark Maron's special, his comedy, he's all inside his own head. In fact, he's curled up in a ball. So I used the same kind of long lenses that you'd use if it was a film instead of like a TV show. So these big long lenses. So wherever I was actually inside his head, basically. Not inside his head, but.
What kind of lenses did you use on Patton's? Sorry, we're getting really in the weeds here because I vaguely remember on Annihilation it being a very shallow depth of field.
Yeah.
And kind of like him. Stranded is the wrong word, but at times
he's
very
alone.
alone.
Yeah. Well, that was the idea. Yeah, because that is, like I said, that's the elephant in the room. He's all alone. Is he going to be able to pull this off? So yeah. Well, I guess someone. Well, I'm impressed you you caught that.
Let's get some questions from the audience right here.
Have you thought about putting a show like this on Broadway? I would love to see this on Broadway. Bigger than Hamilton.
Misfits and Monsters on Broadway. No, but there are some of the things I've written that I think it would be fun to turn into a play. Not the bestiality one, because that would be weird on a nightly basis.
Why
but
not? Yeah.
yeah, I guess there was Who Is Sylvia?
Stoked on that one.
Yeah,
okay.
there was The Goat by Edward Albee was a bestiality play on Broadway, and I was at Sundance with that movie. And Robert Redford, who I didn't know, goes, "Can I talk to you?" And I go, "Hi." And he goes, "Your movie's very reminiscent of Edward Albee's play, The Goat. Have you seen it?" And I go, No. I thought he was accusing me of plagiarism. I'd seen the play twice. Suddenly I'm lying. No, I create in a vacuum, Mr. Redford. It got really weird. And he goes, "Well, you should see it. You'd probably like it." It's just weird.
You did an interview with the New York Times recently where you talked about The Voice, your signature voice.
Right.
Formerly signature voice. I would say your signature now is directing. But, and you said that you've basically put it to bed. You put it to bed about, 10 years ago?
Yeah, maybe a little longer. I mean, I still do it for animated cartoons and stuff. But, yeah, I just thought I didn't like stand-up, and I realized that I didn't like this character that I felt kind of trapped with. So I realized I had to go out and be myself on stage, which was quite terrifying.
Do you like doing that?
Yes, I do. And I've started doing stand-up again.
Next question.
Hey, I was wondering if you identify with a particular monster, and if so, why?
Oh, that's a good question. In the show, I definitely identify with Bubba the Bear. It's about a guy who does the voice for this cartoon character, and the cartoon comes to life and tries to kill him because he hates the way he makes him sound. He's like, well, why you gotta make me stutter? That's something funny for kids to laugh at. He's like, it's a tradition. Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Hugh Grant. And and so I kind of thought that the character of Seth was based on me. But I realized the bear is based on me because there's a scene where Bubba's like, "I was a bear, God damn it, and you made me a joke." And I was like, "Oh, I was a comedian and I made myself a joke." So that and who doesn't relate to Frankenstein? Anybody? I always have a soft spot for the lonely, lumbersome monster
Who just wants friends but kills them by.
Yeah, he's just yeah. I have a soft spot for that.
One more. Right here.
How you doing, Bobcat?
Good, thank you.
My question for you is, what led you to the world of comedy? Like, were there any big names that motivated you to being where you are today?
Yeah, well, thanks. There was when I was like 9, I was home from school. I'm sure I really wasn't sick, but and George Carlin came on, and I remember this. I asked my mom. I said, "What does he do for a living?" Like, I couldn't imagine he got paid to do that. And she was like, "No, that's what he does for a living." And I was like, "Yeah, right on." So it was like George Carlin and then Pryor and Monty Python. The first Pryor movie, I was probably 12 or 13, and that was just like, that showed me that you could do other things than just be funny, that, you could change people, you connect with people. So Pryor and Carlin were the biggies for me.
It's funny because watching this, Dave Foley, when I was 9, and Kids in the Hall was on after school all the time, and that was the thing that I was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like I would watch that every day and be like, "What is this? Who is this person?"
It's so odd, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Bobcat, I love the show. Thanks so much for being here. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, guys.
It's on TruTV Wednesday nights. Everybody, big round of applause, Bobcat Goldthwait.
Thank you.